Here with Infowars.com. I'm standing next to Shane Steiner, who is a helicopter pilot. This is his Raven 2 R44, nice red helicopter. And Shane's going to tell us a little bit about this helicopter because in light of the Kobe Bryant accident, people are starting to look at helicopter safety and whether we should be allowing so many helicopters in the air. But I think Shane's going to dispel a few of the rumors that are out there about helicopter safety. So go ahead, Shane. Let's start with that.
Well, first of all, plain and simple, helicopters are safer than cars. But it's the only mode of transportation that I know of that whenever there's an accident, everyone starts calling anybody who flies and starts telling them they should probably rethink that. Like when I read about Kobe this morning, it was tragic news, but immediately my phone just blew up. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even my parents were saying, "Hey, you were flying in fog the other day. And it was kind of foggy, and no other. I mean, you could read about 40 cars and a pileup and explosions, but nobody ever says, hey, you drive.
Yeah.
You should probably rethink that.
Yeah.
Or if a plane goes down and like the Boeing Max jets, mm-hmm. nobody ever decides that flying airplanes is too unsafe. So I'm out here trying to dispel the myth that helicopters are dangerous. And it's mostly because of the environments that they're put to work in.
Right.
If you're an EMS pilot, you're landing at night in the rain in some area that you've never been to before.
You're delivering oil field workers out to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah,
that's not going to be the nicest environment.
In stormy weather, or you're hovering next to a mountain in Alaska, dropping people down off a line. So,
or you're rescuing people in a sinking boat, in a storm.
If you just said just people that fly around on good days, it's almost zero. And if you looked at all the helicopter accidents, it's never because of the helicopter, or rarely, but it's usually pilot error. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to Monday morning quarterback these things, but what we have so far indicates that pilot continued into like low visibility mm-hmm. and took a perfectly good helicopter and crashed it into a mountain. So that's not really the helicopter's fault.
Right. And you said you had something like that the other day. You were flying in some conditions that you didn't like, and you saw them, and what happened?
It was actually today.
Yeah.
I was flying into Austin, and I was going to work out with Tim, and on the way there, I started seeing the clouds lowering, and then there was a wall of fog, and I got a really good video of it. As I get into the fog, mm-hmm. I was like, well, I can't see through there, so I just did a pedal turn, did a 180, and came out the other way. Yeah, I mean, there's several things you can do in those situations. You can if you have an IFR helicopter, you can go IFR mm-hmm. and go to an airport, or you can pull straight through the clouds and get above it, and then go fly somewhere else, or you can turn around and go home, or you can declare an emergency and go land in a field.
Right. Now, why do you think the pilot? I mean, you're talking about Monday morning quarterbacking, but why do you think the pilot was flying that low? Why didn't he go, well, I know there's mountains around here, I'm just going to fly above them?
Well, because in the audio, he was trying to maintain VFR, mm-hmm. meaning like he could see the ground.
Okay. And
he got special VFR clearance, which meant that it was not good enough conditions for VFR. So he had the tower give him special permission to continue in there. Mm. And then as he started flying lower and lower to try to see the ground, the mountains just kind of come up.
Right. They come out of nowhere, all around California.
And I mean, I don't know, it might have been because, you got Kobe in there, you got a NBA superstar, and maybe you feel pressured that, you need to get there. Mm-hmm. And because it's a lot of, like, I suffer from it too. Like when you make plans to be somewhere, or you tell somebody you're going to get them there at this time, you feel a little bit of a pressure to get there.
And when you're piling people into your helicopter,
you
don't want to be like, oh, sorry guys, we got to go back.
Yeah,
weather's bad.
It doesn't make you a bad pilot to say I can't fly through that. It actually makes you a competent pilot to be the guy who turns back.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we're going to take off. We're going to go Go get some barbecue and check out
barbecue. The place we're going would take forever to get to.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's only going to take us like 6 minutes. check out this big one.
This particular helicopter, like a lot of the other ones, their different components will time out at certain intervals, certain years, or certain hours. And another thing, for instance, regardless of what you're using it for, there's an annual inspection required on all airplanes and all helicopters every single year, where the mechanics will tear them down and inspect different components at different intervals. So some of the aircraft that I operate, 1971, 1974 aircraft, you look at it, you'd never know that they're that old, just because one, we take good care of them, and number two, we're changing out components at different intervals, so the aircraft is always practically new and
Which
safe.
is why helicopters and aircraft also don't just fall out of the sky usually for the helicopters. It's not
Right.
the helicopters coming apart, or it's usually pilot error.